QLED versus OLED, AK versus 4K, Samsung versus LG. Two similar but very different world, approach and philosophy of TV making. But which TV should you consider buying in 2020? Let's find out! So what's up guys, Shades of Tech here, and today I'm very proud to bring you the Samsung 8K QLED versus LG 4K OLED comparison video in the new YouTube studio just renewed. I had a few years of thinking of how I'd make this video if I ever had the chance. Since 2016 we talk about OLED versus QLED and of 8K versus 4K, and those videos had an amazing response and feedback from you guys. We always ask two big TV brands to make a side-by-side comparison, mainly as a rhetorical question. So, imagine my reaction when we were contacted by some very supportive people at LG that saw our videos and reached out, proposing to make this dream video for real. I am still stoked and humbled that people from LG watch even one of our videos, and even more that they propose to send one LG 4K OLED TV and one competitor's TV. So, I want to make very clear that LG provided both of those two TV, but I will be just honest with you. My goal is to be unbiased and base this comparison on solid evidence and fact. Also, we'll talk about prices only at the end of the video. To make this video epic, I needed the strongest opponent I could find. So I went to my local electronics store to see in person what the other brand were offering. My idea was clear: AK, QLED, top-notch 2019 line, and big size to be meaningful for 8K. Just a small side note, Samsung sells AK TVs in 55-inch size. So I ended up bringing up to my 3-floor stairs not one but two huge 65 40 kilo each boxes full of the best tech the TV market has to offer. And yes, I unboxed all the 42 million pixel, I leave the link up here. It was an amazing experience. But first thing first, here in the studio we have the LG 4K OLED 65C9 and the Samsung 8K QLED 65 Q950R. Until now I didn't tell you which TV was which, so let's run a small experiment. Tell me in the comment which one you think is the 8K TV, and at the end of this video I'll tell you if you guessed it right. The difference of the design is the first thing you'll notice out of the box. The LG C9 features an impossible thin profile which is mind-blowing and very attractive. By the way, in the studio we have the 2017 model, but this new model is even thinner, so expect a full LG OLED comparison video. The stand is solid metal and very heavy, but its shapes helped the sound emission that was a little bit of a problem in the 2017 model. The lower part of the TV is thicker because it hides a 40-watt Dolby Atmos enabled 2.2 sound system. And also all the ports are on the side and on the back. Regardless, I have well mounted without any problem, reaching a super satisfying close to the wall effect. Instead, the Samsung Q950R is quite the opposite. It brings the frame on the wall approach with a square boxy and very flat back design, which is very clever, only if it wasn't almost 35mm thick. And I understand that it's AK with a super dense LCD VA backlight layer to light up all those pixels, and that slimmer is not better, but in this Samsung TV, the price for 8K resolution is the sacrifice of design. This could be okay if you're well mounted with the no-gap support, even if I'm not sure how it will handle all the heat that needs to discharge. I'm not crazy about the two-leg design, because it keeps the TV very high and very convenient if you want to place a Samsung soundbar below. And probably this is a good idea, since its 60-watt audio system without Dolby Atmos can stand a chance against the LG audio system. And this is an audio comparison. So what's up guys, Shades of Tech here. One thing that I really love about the Samsung though was the one cable source box connected via optic fiber to the TV, delivering audio, video power and signal. Even if it gets very hot, I think this could be the future of cable management. Not wireless, but less wires. Okay, I probably write down this title for a future video. I would love to see this system on the LG C10. But in my mind, the future TV is more like the rollable, impossibly thin OLED. I would love to have a slimmer design and then choose my audio system all connected to a cable connection box. Truth be told, I honestly think to be able to push the Samsung TV closer to the wall than the LG. Let me know if you want to see that. And now let's talk about the screen. I just want to take a second to let you admire the picture quality because it's mind-blowing and creates a video experience I never felt before. We can agree that those two are different but still state-of-the-art TV screen, both very good and top-notch of the line. So to highlight the difference, we'll be really handpicking and going into full details. We are comparing a 3840 by 2160p on the LG versus a 76080 by 4320p on the Samsung. I explain the 4K 8K difference in this video. So on paper 4x pixel density, but are we in front of the definitive and real 8K? If I wanted to keep it short, I just will tell you that 8K is here said and you can't find 8K content anywhere, or that this TV only has one native 8K HDMI 2.1 enabled port, but we don't like to do things this way here, and I wouldn't be completely honest with you. First, cause 8K is coming sooner than you realize, and second, cause in this SanDisk 128GB USB I have some native 8K footage, so they're not so hard to find after all, and why not? For reference, I use picture quality set with the full setting just right out of the box, and then played content from different 4K and 8K sources. So let's make a little assumption together. The main reason of the lack of 8K content is the format war. But what if there were 8K contents available? Will be this Samsung, the perfect 8K TV for the future, the one you buy and keep for many years, or if you bought one of these Samsung TV, you just would rush out to be the first of your friends to have an 8K display. It's not a crazy assumption, isn't it? YouTube 8K exists, Japan is going to broadcast 2020 Tokyo Olympics in 8K, and PS5 and Xbox Scarlet will feature native 8K 60 gameplay. For full disclosure, the Samsung Q950R is the European version. In the USA, it's called Q900RB, and it's the second generation of the 2018 Q900RA, which was still 8K but was missing the HDMI 2.1 support and had worse viewing angles, all features introduced just 1 year in the later model. Yeah, it was 8K but couldn't accept native 8K input from HDMI. If you bought one of those TV, tell everybody in the comment how do you feel. When 4K came out, TV were very big, heavy, but were missing the HDR features. And a customer bought tech that became obsolete almost immediately. Could be the same here. Let me explain. I think we have come to the core decision-making topic. It has everything to do with the real 8K concept that LG is explaining to distinguish their new 8K OLED product line. In fact, 8K is defined as a pixel resolution. What you don't know is that being so many pixels, so close, so dense, the panel making process becomes very difficult, reason why microLED is still so far for technology limits. So how do we understand if the screen quality is good enough to display all the 33 million pixels in a distinct way if we can barely see them with human eyes? Otherwise, if each pixel is not perfectly distinguished from the ones next to it, if the contrast can properly separate and define them, what's the point of having all those pixels? This ability is described by the contrast modulation CM value, which has a lot to do with resolution definition. So what is contrast modulation? It basically shows how clear the picture is shown. The higher the CM, the clearer the picture is. When you are displaying on a real 8K TV a 1x1 green pattern video with lines as big as 1 pixel, you must be able to see clear and crispy lines. this side-by-side, you might think that the most precise one was the 8K, but it's shockingly not. As you can see in the magnified pictures, we are unable to clearly display the vertical and horizontal lines, but just blurred lines. On the other hand, the 4K TV shows defined black and white lines with precision. Of course, it affects the overall sharpness of the picture, so has 4 times pixels but can be perceived by your eye as lower or similar resolution and less crispy image than just a 4K but with higher CM values. But why this happens? Well, I'm not totally sure. The cause could be the super bright backlight used or the composition film applied to increase viewing angle. In fact, OLED becomes black when turned off, creating an infinite contrast ratio and perfectly sharp grid. The 8K needs a super bright backlight panel that is like a mesh that becomes denser but darker, so the light tends to create gray areas between the grid. Well, CM will be introduced to define the standard for 8K resolution. And honestly, I agree with that because it protects the customer interest and you that never had talking about the CM value in a TV. But which value should have the CM to properly define 8K? Well, RGB TV display have around 95% and the standard requires at least 25% for picture and 50% for text. If all 8K out there had low CM values, I just will tell you that right now the industry technology isn't ready. I don't know which value this 8K TV has, but just by watching those side-by-side magnified images where an old 4K looks sharper than a new 8K, and being the new LG 8K TVs up to 90% CM range value, I'm not saying that this 8K is a bad TV, but can you safely say which panel is better? From what I read, and it's not confirmed, the Samsung barely reaches 15%. It will be 80% less. It should make you think. And I'm genuinely worried that it could become a 4K, not HDR story all again. So, if you want a new TV, I suggest you don't rush out to this 8K TV just for the resolution. So, if resolution isn't the main reason to upgrade to this 8K TV, at least picture quality is. So, OLED versus QLED is basically in the personal taste area. One thing I noticed is the difference in viewing angle. The QLED improved a lot from last year, but as you can see, it tends to become a little bit less visible in the steeper angles and the image suffers. On the other hand, the colors on the OLED panel stay very accurate even with wide viewing angles. I think this could be related to the panel and also to the screen finish of the display. Glossy on the LG and matte on the Samsung. I have mixed feelings about the AI machine learning upscaling on the Samsung TV. It works perfectly with YouTube, Plex and Netflix and on average with regular TV and Amazon Prime Video. But don't go below 4K because it loses quality massively. And don't even think about 720p. Expect me to talk deeper about this feature in the full review because I noticed artifacts with 4K 60 and some fast scenes where the upscaling can't keep on with the scene. In some parts I also noticed the mosquito effect. So OLED is better with cinematic movies and night scenes. I was really blown away by the Game of Thrones Season 8 Battle of Winterfell, with deep blacks, consistent shades of fire and strong overall color performance. The QLED, on the other hand, performs better in daylight scenes. So I think that the OLED QLED battle of the last years saw improvements on both sides. The QLED, with the help of more pixels, can mimic better the blacks, and the OLED improved highlights, becoming brighter than it used to be to perform good HDR. But the Samsung disappointed me in the gray and white areas, just where I would not expect that. With 50% gray and moving white object, and even in Samsung's own menu, there are some evident areas with dirty screen effect, and the whites in some cases are also overexposed and you lose a lot of details. So the overall picture feels more real and consistent on the OLED and more flat but untrue and constructed on the QLED. Not that this is a problem, it depends on your personal taste. Before I close, there are other minor things I have noticed that I will just mention, so just pause the video, they could be relevant to you. All those compromises don't make any sense for me given that $1,500 of price gap. It should have had better design, better audio system and better screen. So you don't need to spend all that money to have an outstanding TV today nor in the next couple of years. And fun fact, right now they are both on sale. So in conclusion, today we learned that a 4K TV with higher CM can look sharper and better than an 8K TV with low. But is this Samsung 8K a bad TV? No. Should you lose faith in 8K TV and wait for the golden 10K? Not at all. But is this the best quality TV I can buy and you can buy right now and the real 8K for the future? In my opinion, it's not. Not future-proof, not mature enough, at least for this price range. It was the first, but now it's the last, unless Samsung will unveil a totally different commercial model at CES 2020. The LG OLED C9 is perfect. The most refined and engineered 4K OLED TV they can do, the perfect TV for most of you. I fell in love 3 years ago and I can confirm today my original impression. It will be hard to make it better, they just could add 8K. Now, the answer to my test, the Samsung 8K, was this one. Let me know in the comments which TV should win my wall mount spot in the studio, and if you would like to see a super epic 8K OLED versus 8K QLED video, let us know. Given all we said, I can't even imagine how stunning an 8K OLED will be. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned on Shades of Tech. Ciao!